Hello everyone, I'm here today with the game Cubitos. Cubitos is a dice rolling, push your luck racing game for 2 to 4 players that plays in around 30 to 60 minutes depending on player count and selected game components. You push your luck, buy dice, and have fun cheering your runner on to the end of the race. The heart of the game is a dice building mechanism where your dice can change their abilities and their probabilities. Let's take a look at how to play the game, and then we'll come back at the end and I'll tell you how I feel about the game. So here we have the setup for a 2-player game. I've selected the track Nothing Goes Right, which is shown on page 8 of the rule book. In addition to the racetrack, you should also have the fan track bleachers here. Each player will put one of their pieces on the racetrack starting line and one in the bleachers over here. In addition, individual players should have a player mat, a round guide, 7 light gray, and 2 dark gray dice. The first player will also have the first player die, which changes throughout the game. The dice trays should be set up around the board with the corresponding cards next to them. Token boxes go next to the board. Now you're ready to select that starting player. The game is played in 2 phases, and you have this handy player board that reminds you of everything going on. But let's go ahead and talk about those things. First thing that you're going to do is you're going to draw your dice. Everybody gets to draw 9 at first. The first player die doesn't count for that. Draw those, move them to the next section, which is the roll section. From there, you can begin to roll your dice. After you've rolled your dice, you're going to look for any successes. These starting dice have 2 types of successes. There are coins and also feet. The feet are movement. Coins can be used to purchase other dice in the same round. Once you have 3 successes, you run the risk of pushing your luck and busting. You can always choose to pass or push until you bust. So what's involved in busting? Well, once I have those 3 successes, they're in my active area. If I roll again and get all blanks, like that, I bust. Once I've busted, there's a few things that are going to happen. I'm going to make sure my fan goes up on the fan track side. Then I'm going to move all dice from my active zone to my discard zone. And I can choose to move any from my roll zone to my discard zone too. In other words, I'm going to lose any successes I have, and I can choose to move any of my roll from my discard. That's important because the only way that I get to refill my roll is when my draw side is empty. After we've done the draw, roll, and then moving hits to the active zone, I get to use abilities. Let's assume I didn't bust and that I had these 3 successes. 2 coins here, a coin here, and a movement. I could use the 3 coins to access any of these other dice and purchase them. When I purchase them, let's say I bought a Mr. Soldier, it would go into my discard area. Those coins cannot be carried over from round to round anyway, so I might as well use them up. If I have any feet, that's a movement. Movement allows me to progress around the racetrack. I can't block other players, but I can worry about these reward tokens. If I land on a reward token at the end of my turn, then I will get that bonus. In this case, this shows me a credit. Credits can be spent like coins, however, they carry over from round to round. We use abilities, resolving swords first from the red dice. Then we determine total coins and movement. In movement, we can use feet, or if we ever have a total of 4 coins or credits, we can use those to advance 1 space for every 4. You might want to do that at the end of the game to finish the game and win, or to get ahead of somebody else and pull off the victory. You can buy up to 2 dice on your turn, but they must be of different colors. You place them in your discard zone, as I mentioned before. Any dice in the active zone that aren't moved yet, for example, if I had an extra coin, would have to get moved to this discard. I can't carry that over for a future turn. Do not move dice in the roll zone unless you bust it. Each round you will move dice from draw to roll zone and only from discard to draw when draw is empty, as I mentioned before. The game ends when a runner reaches the final space. Let's say we're here and I got 2 movement and got here, the game would be over. The winner is the runner farthest past the finish line. If we both finish past the finish line and we're in the same spaces, then the round progresses another time until one of us is finally farther ahead. At that point, that person would be declared the winner. All of these different things are shown on the player cards here. You go through these steps, flip it, and go through those steps. Once you finish that, you flip it again, and you're ready for a new round. Cubitos is a delightful game in many ways. I don't usually say this, but the rule book made the game more fun. There's even a handy cheat sheet to help you get started quickly. You don't need it though. The rule book is well written with plenty of good examples. It's nice and large. I was actually surprised by how large it was when I first got it. But it has examples of how to play, it explains all of its terms clearly, and you can find additional scenarios. Part of the reason that there are additional scenarios is you don't just get the 8 cards that you start with, different options for the dice. For example, the green dice has 6 more options. Every dice has 7 of these cards. You can mix it up. The first time we played this, we actually cheered our little figures on the first couple of times. It has the excitement of push your luck and the randomness of being at a racetrack without any of the consequences. I guess that might be a bad thing if you're a family that fights over games or flips the table when you lose. But overall, I think this is going to be appealing to a lot of people because it does bring some nice push your luck excitement. It's a really cute game. Plus, and this is a big plus for me, the artwork and dice are cute and approachable. They're appropriate for the game. When you want to pick up the components and play with them in a game, it's something that draws me in. This could have been a set like in the Roman Circus Maximus or something like that, and we could have been racing chariots around with weapons and having abilities like that as gladiators. But the fact that it's a cute little game, even though there is some serious thought put into it, really appeals to me. This game is cute and silly, and I like it. I like the tension and aggression being brought down by the colors and the artwork. It makes it a lighter setting. I like light games. I have plenty in my collection. And I want to share this game with other people, but the price is going to be a barrier for some. There's lots of content in here, but really, they're essentially just the same thing. Variants on the base game with different cards for what the dice can do. And it's nice to see the full color boards adding some difference to the game as well, but they're really not going to add that much variability to the play, I don't think. I've played it a handful of times, enjoyed it every time, but how much can you really get in variance in one game? There are at least 1,209,600 ways to play Cubitos, but you're only going to play a few of them, and most of them will feel the same, even if they're technically different. It's kind of like saying the permutations of decks and Keyforge are infinitely huge, but most players know that those permutations are going to feel the same if they play certain ways, even if you change out a certain card. Infinite change or basic infinite change in a game, if it's only related to changing out single elements, isn't that big of a deal. What's also strange for me in this game is it has a recommended age of 14 plus. Now you could do a deep dive on the best way to win this game, but ultimately this is a game of randomness, chance, luck, and that's where it shines. That's where it feels good. And I would say that younger players, 8 to 10, can play this game no problem. Maybe the age requirement is because they're worried that younger players might stick these in their mouth or lose them or lose interest, but it plays fast. It's not hard. It's push your luck. So I don't really get the age requirement. We know older players already want to eat their dice, so if somebody's going to do that, what's going to stop them? I like this game a lot and recommend it highly, but don't let their age range fool you. It's a good game for families and those looking for a nice friend night game to play while you're pushing your luck and racing around and cheering and maybe trying to urge your racers on. It's not a deep strategy game for most people, except for maybe those that really like that deep dive into the possibilities of how their cards can interact and the probabilities therein. There's lucky randomness and silly fun. If that sounds good to you, then this game will probably appeal to you. If it doesn't, that's fine. Leave it alone. I enjoy the colors. I enjoy the artwork. I enjoy playing. But if it does sound good to you, I encourage you to check out John D. Clair's Cubitos, published by AEG. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos, and happy gaming.